Today on r/am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for being culturally insensitive about butter? I was at my boyfriend's family home. I'm a nurse. My son burnt himself on the grill by smacking his forehead into while playing. He had a little burn. I went to the bathroom to clean it up and put some cold water on it. My boyfriend's great-grandmother is there. There might be some cultural differences between us. They are Latina, but she insists on putting butter on my kid's burn. I said no, and his mom came to talk to me saying I should just do this because it's disrespectful to his great-grandmother not to take her advice. She's almost 100. I told his mother it's disrespectful of them not to listen to me about treating my own child, and I'm a nurse, so I'm not putting butter on a small burn. The woman in his family tried to bully me again about the butter, and I finally got mad and said butter is for cooking, why would I want it on the burn? I saw his mom try to put it on my kid and I said no effing butter. I took my kid and left. My boyfriend said I am not to treat his family like that, and I should have just let them do it. In his culture, elders are important. I said in my culture, my boundaries and health are more important than your grandma's ego. We haven't talked since, and my friend said I was being insensitive to my boyfriend and his family. Edit. My boyfriend is not the father of my son. I am divorced. For our next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take my sister to Ren Fair because of what she wants to wear? I, 25 female and the oldest of 4 kids. Brother, Sam, 20 male, and sisters, Maddie, 17 female, and Kiara, 12 female. I have been going to Ren Fair since I was 16, usually with friends, but once Sam and Maddie were 13, I started taking them with me. Kiara just turned 12 a few months ago and said she wanted to go to Ren Fair this year. I was hesitant but asked our mom, and once she gave the okay, I actually got excited because, very sad about this, Sam is in the Marines and can't go this year because he is deployed. That is, I was excited until I found out what she wanted to wear. Maddie and I have been planning and making our outfits since last Ren Fair. We are both avid seamstresses and offered to help Kiara design her outfit. Kiara is really into furries lately and has started making suits and masks, but I made it clear that Ren Fair isn't the place for that, and I was uncomfortable taking her in that. She agreed. We came up with a few outfit designs and set a day to go shopping for all the stuff. She then came to me a week ago, gloating, saying that our mom said yes to her wearing a furry suit to Ren Fair. I told her she absolutely could, but again, I wouldn't be the one taking her if she chose to wear that. She got upset and said I was being unfair because I was still taking Maddie. I told her again that Ren Fair isn't the place, and who I take with me is up to me. She's now very upset with me and is trying to get our mom to make me take her wearing her furry suit. So, am I the a-hole? Edit to add, there are several reasons as to why I stated not the place. Main being that it is still going to be in the 80s during Ren Fair, and she wants to wear a full neon pink furry suit, head and all. Second, this isn't a big Ren Fair where you see all kinds of costumes. We live in a small town, and aside from some tourists, it's mainly just people in our town. There's been plenty of creature costumes, but nothing like what she wants to wear. We offered to help her do a fantasy creature type costume, but she's doubling down. My mother isn't trying to make me take her, just said she was allowed. Also, I'm not embarrassed with her wearing this. I told her she can absolutely wear it next year when we go to Comic-Con. Let's dive into our next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my aunt and family that they've lost access to my sister? A few days ago, I, 23 female, was supposed to pick up my little sister, 7 female, whom I have sole custody of, but my aunt, 32 female, overstepped and said she would pick her up and drop her off to me. She took 45 minutes to do so, although I live 10 minutes away and was only 5 away from pickup. Fast forward to the next day, my little sister informs me that while she was with our aunt, she saw our estranged mother, whom is only allowed to be seen during supervised visits with CPs only. I texted my aunt and asked her if it were true. She began telling me there was no need for me to tell you because that is her mom, and she began attacking me verbally. She said she isn't wrong for hiding it. She invalidated how I felt. She disregarded how crucial it is for me to know these things. The rest of my family also began to text me. My grandma even took her side. I told them that they have lost access for not understanding the sacrifices I've made for my sister, not understanding that I've committed the rest of my life to this, and not respecting my wishes. On to the next story. Am I the a-hole for shrugging when my dad's wife told me they need all of dad's money right now? I, 17 male, might be the a-hole, and I might be a big one, but I wanted to get people's insight. So my dad left my mom when I was 14 to be with his wife, the woman he was cheating on my mom with. My dad didn't want me to think badly of him, but I did. He knew I did, and he knew he couldn't change my mind easily. We always knew my parents would end up with shared custody until I was 17 at least. From experience, the judges in family court will only stop enforcing shared custody when a kid turns 17 and speaks out any younger, and they insist on 50-50. I also knew Mom would struggle on her own because while she did work, she never made as much as my dad. She also wouldn't get child support because of the 50-50, and it wasn't ordered even with the difference in income. So when Dad pleaded with me to give him a chance to show he could still be a good dad and he said he would do anything for me, I told him to keep supporting Mom and make sure she wasn't going to end up struggling while he got off easy. I told him she deserved that at least after what he did, and that I deserved to see my mom doing well. My dad agreed, and he paid it as child support instead of spousal support or whatever it's called. It really helped Mom, and she actually went back to school so she could get a better job. Dad is still paying that money. He knows I appreciate him doing it, and he also knows it's one of the only reasons I didn't just decide to say F him and never want a relationship again. My mom is also less stressed. She has mixed feelings about my dad giving her money when legally he doesn't need to. But she also knows this is the only way for me not to feel the need to help support her. Where my dad's wife comes into it is this. She never liked that my dad paid this child support. She never liked that I insisted on it for my dad and I to have a relationship. But now my dad's house is struggling a bit and some changes needed to be made. His wife's son and daughter were in dance, football, softball, karate, music lessons and an art class as paid extracurriculars. My dad and his wife also have a baby together. The wife's kids had to cut 2 activities because they can't afford it anymore. It pisses his wife off because if Dad wasn't paying the money they could still afford those things. She told me I should stop obligating my dad to support Mom because they need it more and my mom isn't their problem. I told her she and her kids are not my problem. She told me they're my family while Mom is not her or her kids' family or my dad's anymore. I told her she and her kids are Dad's family but not mine. She told me they need all of Dad's money right now before more things need to be cut back on. I shrugged in response. She told me I was so callously flippant and it wasn't a good look to care so little about my siblings' lives. Only one of her kids, the baby, is technically my half-sibling. For our next story. Am I the a-hole for ruining my own gender reveal party? I'm pregnant with a baby boy due in November. My fiancé and I didn't care much about the gender of our child, so we didn't make too much noise about it once we found out. The only people we'd informed were our parents, their partners, and our siblings. Prior to this, my father's girlfriend of 3 years had been asking me about my plans for a gender reveal party. I've always been clear about not wanting one. When I announced my son's gender to them, she expressed disappointment that I hadn't changed my mind about a party. I don't like gender reveals. Never have, never will. I prefer baby showers, which I think feel more about the actual child. I never tried to hide that opinion either. Days later, my father's girlfriend invited me over for tea at their apartment. My dad was out of town. When I got there, about a dozen people popped out of hiding to surprise me. There were pink and blue decorations everywhere, which made what was going on pretty clear. As I stood there in shock, my father's girlfriend excitedly told me they were throwing me a surprise gender reveal party. Since I'd already told her, she had taken it upon herself to order a cake with colorful frosting, decorate the apartment, and invite a bunch of people over. The guests included her mother, whom I don't get along with, some of her friends, my mother-in-law, not my mom, and 4 of my friends. As I later found out, my mother-in-law and friends had been told I'd changed my mind about gender reveals. I had not. Still in the doorway, I looked over at everyone and said, "It's a boy. You guys can go home now." I left without looking back. Hours later, my father called me furious that I'd ruined the party. He said his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money and love into planning it, and I should have shown respect and gratitude for it. Apparently, she hadn't stopped crying since I left. It's been almost a week and they're both still upset. Even after I explained I never wanted that party in the first place, they're insisting I could have sucked it up for an hour, or at least cut the cake. Our last story for today. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help a friend who didn't invite me to their wedding? For about 11 years now, I've, 37 male, been pretty close with let's call him John, 38 male. We met at a job in my mid-20s and were pretty regular company up until the pandemic, where our hanging out, including a circle of mutual friends, has taken a decline but isn't extinct. John and his partner, let's call her Jane, 36 female, have been together for about 8 years now, engaged for a little under 2 years, both with a child from previous relationships, so they have taken trips with their kids near yearly, and I've been happy to help visit John's, now they're home and check on things, take care of their animals, etc. while they're gone. I mean, check on things, take care of their animals, etc. while they're gone. I've helped them out with other projects and tasks over the years and most recently picked up Jane from the airport returning from a work trip and got her home this past winter during a snowstorm because my vehicle could handle it. Generally, I have been present and helpful on top of our base friendship. About 5 weeks ago, I find out from a mutual friend their wedding is coming up, and invites went out a while ago, everyone in our circle but me invited. As a gay guy, I've experienced being iced out of some of my straight friends' lives and events in ways minor and pronounced, but this one has definitely been something that has had me thinking about my time and energy with people. I decided I would take the hint and begin to distance myself. 3 days ago, John texts me asking if I am around in early to mid-August. I say I am. John asks if I wouldn't mind visiting like I have before to look after the animals and property. I said, sorry, I can't. He calls to talk about it. We run through the same conversation, polite but a bit tense. So I finally say, I just won't be visiting your home. After a moment of silence, I bring up that I'm disappointed that I appear to be the only person in our group of friends not invited to his wedding, and that I can't be helping like I have before if I'm just a background friend at this point. I wrap up the call positively and sincerely with me wishing them a good wedding and trip, and that maybe we can grab drinks soon. Jane reaches out 2 days ago sending follow-up texts saying John is upset about what I said and with her because she made the final calls about friend invites, and that I am taking this the wrong way, there is only so much capacity and that the others in our friend group have partners that took up space. She adds that she hopes I'll change my mind and help out them out because it would put John's mind at ease. I'm not entitled to the company of others or invitations to anybody's events, but am I wrong for setting my own boundaries in response to theirs? I try not to frame my friendships as transactional, but they obviously want something out of me here despite their not inviting me, and then avoiding even bringing it up with me, until they needed help with covering their honeymoon. And those are all the stories we have for today. See you tomorrow.